Hi, welcome back to the Backyard Woodshop. I'm Tom Ryder. Today we got something special for you. We're going to be helping the Woodworkers Fighting Cancer cause and building the kids' table and chairs from the Wood Whisperer. The nice thing is he provides you with plans, cut lists, everything you need. You just have to, it gives you the hardware, nice layout, everything's really well done. So the first thing you're going to need to do is make some templates. Mark provides you with printouts so that you can tape them together and make a full-size template, unless you want to take it to a copy shop and get a big full-size template laid out that way. Once you get your template, you want to make sure that it's all smooth and nice, because this is what's going to show on every piece that you make from then on. So you're going to have a chair, side, and a leg. And this will, you can just flip it for the different ways that you need it. And what I did was I tore off the paper, and I've got just like perfectly drilled holes, nice and straight, so that I can just put a center through there and mark my hole locations for my bolts and my dowels. Alright, so what I'm going to do is take a sheet of plywood and break it down into 4 pieces to start with. I'm going to use a homemade saw guide to do that. This is set up for my circular saw. You're going to need 2 pieces at 25 and 2 at 23. Well, once you've broken down your plywood into the smaller pieces, then you can take it to your table saw and break it down into the final pieces to get all your legs. I've got my bottom, my top, got my seat bottom, seat stretchers, seat back, got the apron, and the only thing I have left now that I've taken my template and laid out the chair sides is to cut those out with the scroll saw. I did all this off camera just to speed the video up. So once you've taken and drilled your holes in there, cut out the inside, you kind of have a rough template of what it's supposed to look like. So our next step, we're going to take our templates and go to the router and start getting these down to the finished size. We've got our first side finished with using our template. Turned out pretty well. Just got some sanding to do, but not much. Okay, so off camera I went ahead and cut all the legs. You need 4 legs, but you need 8 pieces, and that's in your cut list. You're going to cut each end though at 5 degrees at 22 inches long. And then you're going to take one of your short apron pieces, lay it across, draw a line, and then from that line down to the end will be for your second piece that'll make the full leg. So I've got my glue spread on my leg, and all I'm going to do is, I've got the line marked, but I'm also going to use the apron to kind of make sure that I get this spacing exactly right, just to kind of as a, as a little guide. So then I've got my board, lay it on there. I'm going to use nails and just with the glue just kind of help so I don't have to use all clamps. And you got to kind of just tag it in there, Okay, so the next thing we did, I went ahead and just off camera, I just laid out my legs after we glued them up just with the template, just like we did with the chair. Cut it on the bandsaw, and then I used my template to get the final curvature for each leg. Alright, so the next step, we're going to work on our table and assembling the sides and the bottom. You need to cut a 1/4 inch groove into the aprons, the long and the short ones, but also you need to cut a small rabbet in the bottom. So how am I going to accomplish that? You can do it with a router, table saw, lots of different ways. I'm going to use my router to do the rabbet. Alright, so just this is a sample piece that I cut so that I can make sure that everything was correct. So what you need is, you need the depth of your rabbet to be 3/8 of an inch deep from the edge down, but then you also need your lip here to be 1/4 of an inch wide. Well, you can't just come up the right amount here on the bottom, because you got 1/4 and a half, right? Well, it's not exactly 1/2 an inch from the bottom, because this plywood just happens to not be 3/4 of an inch wide. So what I did, I don't even know this measurement, because I just kept raising my bit up higher and higher on my router table until I got, or you can use a dado blade and do it on a table saw. You just keep going up a little bit at a time until you get this thickness of 1/4 of an inch, and then you're all set. Alright, we're going to make our rabbet cut all the way around. This is the bottom piece. So I've got everything set up here. Now it's just a matter of running it all the way around on the router. And then so that's what it's going to look like. Okay, so this is going to be my slot cutter here, and I've got a couple feather boards set up so that when I make my cut, when I'm sliding this in, I don't have to worry about the piece moving or kicking back, so the feather board will keep it against there. One of the next things we're going to need to do is mark our ends for all of our seats, backs, and stretchers. Alright, well, now we're going to drill our holes into the seat bottoms, the backs, the stretchers. The nice thing is all these pieces are the same length and they all get the same holes, which is a 3/8 diameter hole. It's going to go 1 inch deep. So what I've done to make it quick and efficient is I've using my Shopsmith. It's got the horizontal boring machine feature. I've got a fence set up as a stop. I've got a stop set on this to go 1 inch deep. All this does is just let me have a reference point. And now the only plus to this is every hole will be dead even all the way across. Where hand drilling you may have a slight variation, where this it'll be just very accurate and efficient. So that's a plus to a Shopsmith. Alright, so now we're going to do our chair sides. So what we need to do is we need 1/4 inch through holes in the centers and then 3/8 holes on the outer holes, but they can only go in a 1/2 inch. So I've got a depth stop set on my 3/8. So we're just going to drill a few so you can see, and I'll just do the rest off camera. Once you have your table assembled, which I didn't do that on camera because all you're doing is lining up everything in the grooves and screwing it together. So you're just making a box. And then we're just going to take these screws here, these flat panhead screws. You're going to have your 1/4 inch holes drilled like in your pattern. You're going to have 3/8 holes drilled because these cap nuts on the back side need a 3/8 hole. So then you're just going to put it on the marks you've already made. So you got that in there, and then you're just going to slip this on the inside into the hole. And then once they get started, there we go. Once they get started, you just snug it up. And I'm doing it upside down so the gravity will be like my clamp and hold everything nice and even for me. So you just put these in the respective holes, get the threads started correctly, and you're all set. Snug those up, and now you got a table with 4 legs. Off camera I rounded everything over with a 1/4 inch round over. I went ahead and assembled everything. It's pretty much, once you got all your holes drilled and everything like that, it just goes together really quickly. That's one thing that's nice. As you can see, we got the 2 chairs. They turned out really nice. Once we paint them, I'm going to do probably a white seat and a yellow side. It'll match the toy chest I built last year. Well, we've got our table all painted. I just did that off camera because, you know, I just used a roller and some paint, and then I put clear lacquer over all my granddaughter's artwork. We dipped her feet in paint and let her stand on the chairs. You know how little kids love to stand on chairs. And got some handprints in paint. Grandma wrote her name on the table, and then I let her go crazy just like Mark did with his son with marker. So I'd like to thank the Wood Whisperer, Mark Spagnola, for initiating this Woodworkers Fighting Cancer cause and putting out a great set of plans. I appreciate you watching, and please subscribe. Thank you.